Hello, everyone. I'm John O'Loughlin. Welcome to McDuff Lives, and welcome once again to Carol M. and Tara Starr of Protecting the Nest. Good evening, ladies. Glad you could join me. And we've given Amber a pass tonight so she can attend a very important rehearsal of her life as a singer with a very prestigious Atlanta Symphony Orchestra chorus. So uh, we wish her toy, as they say in the business. And so, well, that gives us a little more time with Tara and Carol M. So I'm looking forward to it. Um, as an introduction to tonight, welcome to, we're past, we're in Celtic Spring now, and I have show and tell. You want to see?
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
we
starting
do.
things.
What's that?
Yay.
What is John doing? Oh, you can see. Oh, I'm going to take his head off. There you go. You see
Now we can see a
Oh,
lot better.
the little
nice.
there. Yeah.
I love
Okay.
it.
So
What are they?
Some sprouts.
these are kale. These are lacinato uh kale sprouts. And I have big helps for these guys. I'm thinking that, they're going to get bigger and healthier and they're going to grow, and I'm sending lots of positive energy. I got one of those little grow light things you could set on the table, and so they get some light every day. And but I'm just kind of just fumbling around with this because I last year I just threw some seeds in the ground, and I probably did it too late in the year, and it didn't ever work out. So anyway, new beginnings, springs here, and I know you guys are into that. So whatever else you guys want to talk about is fine with me. Let's talk to Tara first because Tara, I haven't seen you in a month, and Carol and I have had a chance to catch up recently. So, and I saw and I said hello to Dave a little earlier. He uh, passing through. So catch us up with what's new and exciting with you, Tara.
Well, I meant as far as exciting, I would say that, trying to just like piece together normal things while this like war is going on behind you, so it is a little like, fire under your butt type thing. But like Carol was just saying, there's spring on the horizon, so no better time to kind of get ready to dig in and till your soil and get ready to see what we can build as far as something beautiful for the coming season. Here in New England, it's still, you can't get. One year we tried to plant a yellow raspberry, and it was like after mid March, and it just another frost came in. So there's trickery times. I have the a fig tree for the first time that I have covered. We'll see how I did there, but honestly, we haven't gotten a lot of snow, so I feel like we've kind of been. It's been all like north of us. Um, so yeah. But what Carol was saying, before we just started was kind of some stuff she's been excited about to really get into the science behind the electricity of the soil, the function of the soil, and something I don't know yet, I think.
Well, it's stuff I didn't know either. So it is kind of exciting new information. There's some old information too of, now that it's still a little wintry and like you're saying, it's still stuff's happening. There's things we can do to get ready for growth, like John, from planting what he's planting, getting it going, taking care of it. Um, there's just plenty of stuff to always do to improve our nutrition, improve our self reliance, because we don't know what's going to go on with inflation and with seeds. And, we hear all these horrible things that nobody can plant gardens. It's just hard to imagine. I think they made that announcement in Australia, maybe. I don't know how effective it was because there's a lot of people grow a lot of things. In fact, some of this electroculture, there's a lot of Australians that are doing it. So it's pretty exciting. Um, I did want to compliment you, John, on getting to the big rally on Sunday, and I saw the pictures, and I thought it was really wonderful that all the signs, the pictures you took, so many of them were hand done, and that's not what we're seeing at rallies anymore. So that it just shows you it's heartfelt coming from human beings. So that was great. You got there. I hope it
Yeah,
was
it was
fun.
great to be there, and I was hoping that I'd be able to do some live streaming. I did get a short one out there, but it's technically difficult to when you're out there walking around to get connected. And so I did shoot some video, but most of the event was has been broadcast on on social media now. So much that what I have is it's nice, but it's not anything you can't see anywhere else. I got some still photos too, which I haven't really gone through and picked out the good ones to publish yet. So that's coming. I'd say there was somewhere around 3,500, 4,000 people there. Um, a lot of people just were at outside because it was a beautiful day, walking along the reflecting pool, and it just naturally leads them right up to the stage. So they might not have known what they were going to, but the it was a very attractive crowd. Lots of flags around, every kind of flag from the rainbow flag of the gender equality to the Chinese flag with the hammer and sickle on it, the Russian flags. Somebody had a flag I didn't recognize, and then I learned it was an Imperial Russian flag. So
Wow.
I thought this must be the Romanovs coming back, um, which is which is not that far fetched when you think about all the crazy skullduggery that we've studied, and between the Habsburgs and the Romanovs and who knows, maybe the Napoleons will be back too. They certainly have not disappeared as we looked into the Jerome Bonaparte and then Charles Bonaparte, the director of the first the predecessor of the FBI. Um, all of that intrigues. They don't stop just because they disappear from the newspaper. Just because
Hmm.
you know, like you don't hear the name Vanderbilt every day. That doesn't mean there's not a whole lot of Vanderbilt power out there doing things that you know are probably worth knowing about, but they're just not on the radar screen, not talked about. Boy, President Putin made a much anticipated speech today, and a lot of people have felt that didn't it didn't do whatever they were hoping it was going to do. Maybe they thought there was going to be a magic moment that all would be clear and the path will be set for us and all. But I think he is calling the West to account in a very serious way, and went through a number of instances in which America, the U.S., has provided the muscle for taking down what should have been sovereign governments, and listed a number of them from Libya, Iraq, and the list. And you know, while the crowd at the mall on Sunday, the 19th of February, was disappointingly small, and I'd have to admit that I was disappointed. Um, it was very, very diverse, and that's a really good thing. Our friend Garland Nixon was one of the speakers. And he's
Yay.
a lefty. He's a lifelong committed lefty, but he has so much in common with the people that would be characterized as libertarian or so-called right wing, which
Well,
is
I think lefties always used to be anti-war. Remember back in the old days?
Yeah.
well. That's
Yep.
that's that's my other point. Is there was a fantastic singer. Her name is Tatiana Moroz, Muroz, or it might have been Munoz. I'm sorry, but Tatiana is her name, and she sang Masters of War. She sang it beautifully. Bob Dylan's classic
Hmm.
Masters of War song, and I was stuck singing along. I know this song.
Yeah, we know all the words.
And I'm thinking, well, when are we gonna do Blowing in the Wind next? Um, but it is so ironic because I'm sitting there singing a song that the people who are on the other side, the ones that are, the diehard Biden people, the liberal friends of mine that I love so much, they're not there. And these are the ones that sang it when it was big the first time.
Yeah, that's what's so
That
crazy.
was, and I'm like, hey guys, this is your song. This is
Hmm.
your words. You practically invented the peace movement. Where the hell are you? And it's amazing to me that they're living in their world and we're living in a different world. And
Well,
it's
they're getting their world, spoon fed to them. And, the algorithms are just dividing people, and it's so intentional. And the sad thing is, they just can't see that. I,
Uh,
yeah.
I still, there's more people, I think, now that are starting to understand a little bit, but it's still invisible in a lot of
that-
ways.
that's why I think that there's like a generational, um, each generation, there's like these tricks that they put out in the media and, all kind of wherever they can, really, and so I feel like for a
Hmm.
lot of people, there's like these underlying triggers that they
Hmm.
don't understand, and it's not that like
They've been
you guys,
trained. The triggers
yeah,
have. They've been trained to
they've
trick
been
to
trained, and
react.
it's like
Yeah.
we've been tricked too, so it's
Hmm.
not to say that we haven't been tricked too. It's just that there's different levels of like people breaking out of it, or just like getting into this objective position where they can see it from the outside. So I really, some things that you think that you're going to show, like for an example, when like Comet Pizza thing was coming out or whatever, and I like saw the Instagram right away, and it was just really hellish. There was like these certain bands that they had playing for all ages, and it was just like it was very disturbing, but it had a lot of like 60s imagery kind of like mixed in with it, and I was gonna like show it to somebody that was maybe little at that time, and I was like, I honestly think that it might have triggers in here that like I shouldn't even show them, because like these messages were put out like when they were little or when other vulnerable times, and you might think that they're going to see it one way, but really it just like does something else to like their brain, or however you want to describe it. I always say a spell, just because it's really
Hmm.
hard to kind of understand.
Well, that is what it feels like. Yeah. Well, how are we going to get out of it? I think one way is that we have to keep our feet on the ground. So let's get back to the worms.
Yeah, exactly. Because those things about life that are our
Hmm.
own, like friends, family, even people that disagree, see, that gets back to like, okay, let's get practical. We can talk about stuff, but there's things to do. Who's gonna go digging for worms? Who's gonna understand about what's going on and all the processes?
Yeah, I mean, we can't ignore what's going on, but we have to take steps in the right direction to come back together and to do the things that keep us human in the face of transhumanism. So, anyway, did you get the links I sent you, John? I
Oh
sent,
no, I didn't
I
know you said it.
emailed a couple, but um, yeah, the I sent some and then I consolidated it, make it a little easier. But one of the things I'm thinking is we've gotten this culture going where we have 40 million acres of lawn in the U.S. that is mostly it's got fertilizer and stuff on it, and there's nothing productive there at all. And so there's just all these resources with zero yield. So if we're getting into a place where things are tight and you have to grow your own food again, which we're not quite there, but we can start moving in that direction now because it feels great. You eat better. It's fun. It's not hard. So we might as well take steps to be people that live on this earth.
All
So
right. Well, you were
one of the
talking
things,
about. Oh, go ahead. No,
oh,
I said you were talking earlier about, electricity and
yeah.
magnetic fields and plant growth, and I'm opening your email now, and I see that you have attached a little video of on that subject called magnetic fields and plant growth. Would you like to play that one?
Well, the one I want to play is called Realize. I don't think I put the title in there, but it's the end of it is 106S. If we want to do electrical, I also have some stuff before we get into the electrical. I want to give you a little bit of advice, John, on your little baby plants.
Oh
Is that
yeah.
it's so easy to make a worm bin, and I had a little video that I sent, but I can just explain it. I mean, really, if you just take, a plastic bin with a lid on it and poke some holes around it, and it doesn't even have to be plastic one, but that way it keeps the moisture in. And you just put your table scraps and some cardboard and some paper. You keep it wet, and you can buy these red worms that I've been talking about to you. They make such a difference. You
Hmm.
can get 1,000 of them for like $30
Yeah.
and just grow them inside for a while, let them
I'll grow 'em inside.
multiply.
I didn't think of that. Yeah, because you can't put
So,
them out until after the frost, right? Yeah.
well, they're going to be okay once you get them out and they're established. They'll just dig down in there, and they're very hardy, but
Hmm.
they're so great for your soil. And if you didn't have a great harvest last year, it could be that your soil's not light and fluffy, and that's what worms do. They you can feed them table scraps, and they turn it into compost and mulch and all the great fertilizer, nitrogen and potassium, phosphorus, everything you need. Plus, they aerate the soil. So if you get those going, they just make more. 3 worms can make 150 worms in one season. So they're very prolific.
That's
So
pretty.
that we won't play the worm bin one, but let's.
All right.
Did you see the one that ends in 106S?
Well, actually, I didn't try to hunt it down. I did want to have a make a couple of comments here from the
Okay.
chat room. First of all, Kathy Sue, Kathy Sue, happy birthday, dear!
Oh, it's her
Hey,
birthday.
happy
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 birthday!
birthday,
birthday.
Kathy!
Yeah, a round of
Wow.
applause for great Kathy Sue. And happy birthday to you. And then the other announcement, I have not been in touch with Professor Hamamoto either. I know that a lot of people are worried about him. I do not know the answer. If anybody has his phone number, give him a call. I don't. But he's scheduled to be with me, I think Thursday of this week. So I'll certainly be in touch with him between now and then, and we'll find out. But yeah, I don't know what to say. I did not see him on the show that people were concerned about. But thank you all for asking and for passing around what information you may have. Um, and yeah, maybe Peter Duke, being out in California, could find him. But we need somebody to get in touch with him, and we shall let you know as soon as I hear anything.
Well, I sure
Okay,
hope
and I
you
just wanted to
come
make
back.
that comment. Our
Yeah.
dear friend. I hope he's fine. Okay, back to what you were saying. You'd like to play one of these videos, Carol.
Yeah, I think the one on the electrocolor culture, it's one that ends in 106S. I can't remember what I called it in the email, but I think it's the electroculture one. And the name of it's electroculture and primary water. I switched them out. So I sent you another email, but I
Well,
sent it. as
the email that I have has permaculture, the factor of QI. What is electroculture? And it does not, there none of the ones have that last bit.
Okay, well that'll give us the explanation. I like the other one better, and it was a little clearer. And
It's called
but
Real Magic
yeah,
Tesla for Gardeners. Is that the one?
Real Magic Tesla for Gardeners. I think that's the different one. I just had a little teeny bit, a couple little bits on that one. So I
I
think the
could probably
one.
put it in the chat because remember you sent it to us.
No, that I sent a new one today. Here, I can
Oh.
send it to. I can put this one in the chat. That's what I'll do. And
Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah. So are the red worms like? Are they? How red are they? Are they just like a red tinge? Do they look like
They're
a regular
really small.
worm?
They're only about this big. They're not like the great big worms. They're just a couple inches, 2 or 3 inches, and they're red. But they eat a lot. They really process and turn vegetables and stuff in to incredible, rich, wonderful stuff. They're the best.
All right.
Okay, yeah, just play the
farming.
first.
Let's play this one.
Okay, let's play this one. Yeah, you can just. This is a 3-minute video, so I think.
Electroculture farming, also known as electroculture or magnetoculture, is a form of sustainable agriculture that utilizes electric fields or magnetic fields to stimulate plant growth. This innovative technology has the potential to revolutionize modern agriculture and could help us meet the growing demand for food while minimizing our impact on the environment. Electroculture farming is still in its early stages of development, but there is no doubt that it has the potential to change the way we grow food forever. Electroculture farming is based on the principle that plants can absorb nutrients more efficiently when exposed to an electric or magnetic field. This theory was first proposed in the early 1800s, but it wasn't until the mid-1900s that electroculture farming began to be studied more seriously. In recent years, there have been a number of breakthroughs in electroculture technology, and farmers are now beginning to experiment with this new form of agriculture. How does electroculture farming work? Electroculture farming works by using electrical energy to stimulate plant growth. This can be done in a number of ways, but the most common method is to apply a current to the roots of plants. The current causes the plants to produce more growth hormones, which leads to increased growth rates. The electrical current can help to break down organic matter, making it more available for plants. This can help to improve the fertility of the soil. Electroculture farming can also be used to improve the efficiency of photosynthesis, which can further increase crop yields. There are many potential benefits of electroculture farming. For one, it could help us increase food production without needing to use more land or water. Additionally, electroculture farming could reduce our reliance on chemical fertilizers and pesticides, as well as help us conserve soil and water resources. Furthermore, electroculture farming could also create new jobs in rural communities and help us transition to a more sustainable form of agriculture. The potential benefits of electroculture farming are truly exciting, but we still need to do more research to fully understand how this technology works and whether or not it is viable on a large scale. Nevertheless, electroculture farming represents a promising step forward in our quest for sustainable agriculture, and it is an exciting area of research that we will be watching closely in the years to come. What do you think about electroculture farming?
Yeah, you can stop it here. Yeah, this is a kind of a little goofier version, but basically what it is, it's not really electricity, although that's kind of what he's talking about. It's subtle energy that you can take from the sky and put it underneath the roots by just taking a stick and wrapping a copper wire around it and putting it in deep enough that it goes underneath the roots. The other video was a lot better because it really explains it a little bit more. And there's a guy who's, I think he's Belgian, who's done it. he got a degree in this, and he's done all kinds of research on it. So this guy was a little more sort of funky and old fashioned. But really, it is something that is being studied. They've done some big studies in China too about it, but it's really bringing, I think it's like chi or prana. It's taking it into the roots directly, and it's very simple. One of the things this guy in Belgium did is he just put a wire across this little tent. He made in this cold climate. He made a little greenhouse just out of hoops, but it was in like a parabola, like a tent. And he just used some simple metals and magnets in it, using stuff that's been studied for a long time, very long time, and was able to really improve his output. So one of it is just a wire in the ground, just kind of on top of the ground, a couple that goes north to south. You put a magnet in it with some loops. And I love the stick with the spiral. It's just so simple. But there's a number of different shapes.
Have you done it?
Pardon?
Have you done that?
Well, I'm going to. I'm definitely going to do it. I didn't know about it. This is brand new
That's
stuff.
right.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's really interesting to me, and I think this other video is a lot better. But we don't have to watch another one, I think. But I'm seeing that it's getting a lot of press out there. There's people doing it, explaining it in Australia, showing how much better their tomatoes are. And some of the things they do are pretty simple. They'll take a metal tomato cage and just hook them all together with little copper loops. They're just kind of making connections and allowing it to act like an antenna, a pretty simple antenna, and bringing that. It's really this subtle energy. It's not necessarily that you put electrical charge on it. And I think that is being a little bit obscured, because some of these videos make it sound like it's actual electricity, which it is, but it's real subtle electricity. But it's been shown to
electromagnetic current, like
electromagnetic current is electricity, and it is an electromagnetic current, but it's what makes life alive. And it's kind of what Tesla was taking out of the air.
So
it is electricity, but it's also more than just electricity. So anyway,
like when we do this to make the circuit for the breathing yoga, right? Will be like connect.
Right. So I'm going to be checking this out. And the videos I put in the chat, John, you could just watch them yourself later if you want, to help your garden out, because it's so simple. And
we're going to get some worms. Yeah, I'm down with the red worm thing.
Yeah, get some worms. And
we started a compost, last summer, and so we got a pretty good start there. So we just, after it gets a little warmer, we'll toss some worms in there.
Yeah. Did you guys used to dig for worms when you were little?
Oh yeah. When I was little, sure. Yeah.
I don't think kids really do it. We got to get the kids digging for worms.
We used to go fishing, for goodness sakes. Nobody does that either.
Exactly. Yeah. Some people do, though. It's in their DNA.
Yeah. Well, of course, down here on the island, we're full of fishermen. I shouldn't say that, but generally, there's hardly anybody left.
Generally.
Just the first, Andy Griffith's show with Opie walking down the hill with his fishing pole on his shoulder. Whistling that cute little song. I mean, that's idyllic America from way back in the olden days that never actually existed.
Well, in some kind of different ways, it is like an American classic to just be able to have your community, country life, and hey, The importance of the sheriff, that's coming back.
That's one of the things that comes out of that show that I wish that we could bring this ethic back, where he said that he didn't wear his gun because he didn't want people to respect him because he wore a gun. He wanted people to respect him because he was the sheriff. And he didn't wear a gun when he went around and did his arm. And people, were enough aware of the fact that, yeah, this is a good thing. It's good that you don't have to, have a, plexiglass uh, limousine to drive around in if you're John F. Kennedy. And that, he wanted to live that life of Mayberry, where everybody respects you because of who you are and not because you have a gun on your hip. And I think that's a point that has been lost. And I think Andy Griffith was a good guy.
Don't forget, Barney Fife is gonna come save the day if anything goes wrong. So as soon as you need anybody to be armed, Barnes there.
Well, I think there was a thing about community policing where that was a whole movement by police, departments to get that feeling back. But now I don't know what's happening. The police aren't there. They're gone. They don't come anymore. It's a different
communities aren't as connected, so so that matters. I meant they care, but they don't know each other as well, maybe sometimes.
I think the community policing thing was the idea is you get people consistently to be in the same community, so they did get to know them. It was a little bit more Andy and Mayberry. And I think it did work here. I know my daughter got into a lot of problem with the police, and when we would get the same guy and he knew her and it would help so much, when you're dealing with mental illness problems that could escalate to, teenagers get shot all the time by going kind of nuts. And that was a terrifying thing to have to worry about.
Yeah, I have to say we've had a community police officer here on Mystery Island for I think they stopped that maybe 2 years ago or so, but we knew the person, and he would ride his bicycle around, on very nice. And yeah, I think that's part of what we've lost. And as we allow something like that to slip through our fingers, then the replacement is going to be much, much worse, because the replacement is going to be, from Wackenhut, from
Robo dogs,
Academy, from the professional Eric Prince organizations of and those guys, might as well be orcs, they're programmed. They're coming out with here's what we're going to do, and you better do it.
It's like when we used to travel in Mexico and you'd see these trucks full of young men that looked like they were probably 15 and they all had AK-47s. There's that element, but then there's the AI robo dogs that's, we've all seen pictures of those too. So that's pretty horrific thought that it's not even people. It's just going to
be. And while they're developing these robo dogs and worse, they're also developing the ability to create false images of people that look real, that they're getting so good at it that one day you will never know whether that person talking on your television is really Joe Biden or somebody just, with a green screen and a holographic picture of Joe Biden. And this also is going to be used to put people in a bad light,
Mm-hmm.
to put your image on something ugly or something anti-Semitic or something, that destroys your reputation, and you have no way to fight back. And this control over the images is intended to disassociate us from any idea that we might know what's going on. That to just teach us that there's no way you're ever going to penetrate into the ultimate reality. So just kick back, do your thing, enjoy your life, and be sure and roll up your sleeve for us whenever we have something we need to stick inside you. And and that I this is what we talk about with other folks like Mark Kulak talking about how um, they're doing this experimentation through injections that is giving them information that's going to help them to build that transhumanist future that
Mm-hmm.
is going to be so convenient to them and just so devastating to us. These things go on while we're speaking right now, and there are many thousands of people that are completely convinced that it's an inevitable future, and so they might as well be a part of it. And that's where that's where our huge bundles of cash, our most wealthy corporations and our most wealthy individuals are part of this transhumanist movement that's going to dehumanize us and turn us into experimental subjects and worker bees for as long as they need us, and then you know they'll get rid of us. I'm sorry. I thought we were going to talk about cheerful
You know
stuff
what?
today, but look
They
what I
they
did. I
they
just
will try. They will try and they will try and they will keep
yeah.
on trying. But unfortunately for them, there are droves of people that do forensics. They do forensics way better than the scumbags do forensics, you know? So again, body language and just care, a combination between technology and the natural eye for things can be unraveled, and not every single thing. Yep, people are going to be tricked on illusions all day and all night. It will happen. But in the general sense of thinking that they are just going to come and manipulate every little thing, and there's all the different pills, black pill, red pill, this and that. But the clown pill is like, you have to laugh at some of this. It's like, apparently, um, the FBI and whoever connected, good, bad, whatever, they've had these skin suits. They've had these different technologies, yeah, whether it be hologram, green screen, all kind of stuff. So it's like, it's spy versus spy. We are in that game where things can be a tricky illusion, but the idea that we aren't going to have like that rooted, grounded understanding of, like, even if it's a vibration, sometimes you're just like, you have the forensic people that prove things, but you just like lock in and you're like, okay, I'm feeling that this is, a little bit, whatever the conclusion is of that given time. So working together, the understanding that we have built, I believe, is so much stronger. I really do. And there's this, oh, and I'll just say it to Kathy-san, o tanjobi omedetou gozaimasu. And because it's a good plug for this anime, Megazone 23, Megazone Niji-san, because it was the prototype to the Matrix. and there's like two from the 80s and then one in the 2000s. And so there is like a person, Eve, that's like broadcasted as this like pop star or whatever, that is like I won't go into it, but just the idea of like, yes, presenting someone that everyone thinks is a person, and then it really isn't, right down to like other interconnected secrets that we're dealing with now. So yeah, we are in that amazing time where you can take the black pill, and like I was saying the other day, you just kind of want to plunge it in like a deep dive, bring it back up, see what you see, then get back to your clear, your red heartbeat, all the stuff, because we can't just stay in the dregs, because we're not built for that, but we do send deep dives down in all different kind of arenas. And when we compare those and put them together as pieces of bigger puzzle, there is something amazing going on here. So we do have a lot of nozomi, a hope to live
Yeah.
with.
I think our biggest hope is that the economic system will collapse and all these giant plans will just dissolve. That's
What
my
happens to
best
the
hope.
cities, though? What happens to the cities when the economic zone collapses? I mean, those of us in
Well,
the country
I
that
think.
have a little bit of land, we have a chance. But you know, just 2 million people in Washington D.C.
Mhm.
The grocery stores have 3 days worth of food in them, and then what do they do?
Yeah. Well, I think that there is, I'm hoping this is true. I don't know for sure, but that all the cryptocurrencies are kind of working in the background and will step in, and there'll be a lot of different ones, and then we'll move forward. But I don't know. I don't know if that's hopium or if this really is working in the background. We're working in the background. We're working really hard in the background, all of us, so I think other people are too, and it's we don't know if what's really happening because there's so many lies out there and there's so much illusions. But I have a sense that we're gonna get there, but it might be icky for a while. I don't know. What's your sense? Just your.
Well, I don't know. I think that they have to keep it together for a while. They cannot let it crash. That's why the simplest explanation of why did Biden go to Kiev was
Mhm.
to show the people that are invested in the Kiev takeover project that we are still committed. And, with this 1 year anniversary that both sides are talking about, they're going to do big things on February 24th, I think it is, militarily.
To
Um,
celebrate the endless war.
no, to win it. They're going to do something
Oh,
huge
they're
and
gonna
they're going
win
to
it.
win, right? Each side has plans to win on February 24th. And I keep waiting, to see what's going to happen. But the problem is that our economy has been so strained by the COVID payments, by every other way that our money has been siphoned away from us, that there's just not enough money left unless we win the Ukraine thing. That's the way I look at it. So that it really is a Wall Street project to take over the assets that are available there,
Hmm.
the black soil and the land and and plus the infrastructure of what I think is going to be a very central part of the coming technocratic state. The world's technocracy government might actually be there. That idea of them turning Ukraine into the center of their uh, crazy, world domination, they're all in. They have put
Well,
all the chips on the table, and this is where I'm afraid that while they're going to have to keep our economy going for a while, that it's going to keep
yeah.
draining and draining and draining, and uh, whether it's going to actually break one day like Wall Street in 1929, I don't know. But I do think that the death by the thousand cuts is probably happening already.
Well,
You
I
know,
think it's scorched earth. It's worse than thousand cuts right now with with what's been happening the last couple of weeks.
you're
And
talking
but
about the industrial plants that blow up and
yeah, right. But
the train.
but notice how nobody's taken the jabs. They're having to throw them away. So I think people are also waking up to what some of this, really warfare that we're seeing is, and once people see that, there's hope that we can say, okay, who did it? Let's point the fingers. Let's, not let this go without being called out. I don't know exactly how we get from here to there. I don't think anybody does, but everybody's working on it now, or more people. When we first started this 3 years ago,
Yeah.
it really felt lonely. And how many people were at the rally, John?
It was good. I mean, I was disappointed. I wanted, I wanted a million, but I was thinking maybe, some 50,000 or might not be unreasonable. It got a lot of publicity. No, there was maybe 3,500, 4,000
Mm.
people there, and maybe more than that come and go, but it did not uh, give the impression of a huge crowd like you would like to see at the Lincoln Memorial. But it was a very, very nice crowd. It was every people had, you know, their own homemade signs, as you've seen on the video
Hmm.
the drummer made, and it was very much of a down homesy anti-war rally. The speeches were great. Jimmy Dore was very entertaining. As I mentioned, Garland Nixon did a great job. Diane Sayre um, made a great speech, and a lot of other people. I was really touched to see that Dennis Kucinich made it, and he spoke very forcefully against the American war
Well,
machine. And
he's a blue person too,
yeah,
right? Isn't
oh
he?
yeah,
Yeah. So there's a little bit. We really want more, though. We need to have more. The little people versus the big people, and not just the left and the right anymore.
well,
There
you're
has
not going to get Rachel Maddow. I guarantee you that.
to.
No,
Well,
because
she's not a little people.
she's a Rhodes Scholar. She's already a
Mhm.
Rhodes Scholar. She's
Yeah.
already owned.
Oh my God. And last I heard, she was making 14, 15 million a year. Yeah.
Yep. Paid. These people get paid real big to lie and shill. No, not just pretty faces.
Well, last topic for tonight: Grand Canyon.
Well, can I just say real quick? Me and Dave we have tickets to see Jimmy Dore because he's coming out here. So
Oh, cool.
we're very
Oh.
excited about that. Yeah. So I have to make some connections.
Very good. Well, I was just going to say that Marcia and I are going to take next week off. We're going to head out to Phoenix to visit some relatives, and then we're going to
Nice.
take a couple days and drive up to the Grand Canyon and see that for the
All
first time
right.
in our lives. So that'll be really exciting, and I know there's going to be an awful lot more that we can possibly take in 2 or 2.5 days. But I bet you guys, or at least Carol, have you been there?
I have, and it is totally magnificent. It's just so huge. You just don't really get it until you're standing on the edge, and then it's just powerful. It's beautiful. So it is an amazing experience that it's you won't be disappointed. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Tara, have you been?
So, yeah. Oh, yes. So, I do have a few advice. Are you staying anywhere in particular?
Yeah, we're going to stay in the lodge there, the main lodge.
Oh, great.
Oh, in the Grand Canyon. Okay. So, I'll just give some general advice and whatever. Of two
It's going to be
things.
cold. It's February, so it's going to be very cold.
Right. That's
It's not cold
true.
at the bottom, only at the
Yeah,
top.
But we're not
It,
going to
it,
the bottom.
Yeah.
it
Okay.
can vary, and I don't know if it'll be open,
Mhm.
but from Phoenix from Phoenix, because that's the Colorado Plateau. So you have like this huge hoisted up area, and then Phoenix is down in the valley. So if you go to the like very far east side, like McDougal neighborhood area of or I think I'm saying that right. McDowell. Um, you can get on Route 88, which is the Apache Trail, and this is one of the most incredible routes you could ever go on. Like, you have to have time if you're trying to get somewhere far, you want to spend the day on it. And it is the old Apache Trail on when they would leave the hot summer of the Phoenix Valley and travel and trek through these mountains, these incredible mountains up to the Colorado Plateau. So if you drive it the easy way, kind of up to Flagstaff, it is very, very, very steep. But this particular Route 88 is the true Thunder Mountain. So and I say that only because one time, and I'll tell you the long version later, there was a thundercloud chasing us. But this is incredible. And there's one turnaround point that you can usually see, like tarantula, maybe rattlesnake type thing, but so beautiful. And the other thing is up in Navajo, where like up in the Four Corners, and now there's just like vast distances, so you got to plan it right. But
He's only got 2 days.
Oh, you only have 2 days? Okay, well, I'll just say this anyway.
Mhm.
Up by the Four Corners is Navajo, and it's kind of like the reservation is kind of like a big egg where the yolk is actually Hopi and the outside of it is like Navajo.
Yeah.
And they're like interrelated and interconnected, but two distinct different tribes. And going to Hopi, to the Three Mesas, is quite an incredible journey. And that's not that far from the Grand Canyon. And you can go to the cultural center and have a pretty good experience of Hopi there too. And Sundays they're selling stuff, whatever. But the state itself, you could find yourself anywhere and just have a beautiful time, an artist's time, a wonderful time.
Yeah, the saguaro cactuses are really great in certain parts of the state. Yeah, it's amazing landscape.
Well, it's just our first trip, and hopefully we'll have a little more time the next time to do some of that. That Thunder Road sounds fabulous. Wow.
There's always more. That's the thing. There's always more. It's one of my favorite places for sure.
Okay. And everyone in the chat, thanks for being with us. Love Cat, thanks for the idea. I think our schedule's going to be awfully tight this time, but it's good to know you are 3 hours from Flagstaff, and thanks for saying hi. All right.
Love Cat.
All the best.
Yeah,
Carol,
and I hope to see Hamamoto on Thursday.
yes.
Well,
Okay. Well, I'm sure that we'll know something soon. And thanks all for your concern. What a great man he is. And
he is.
boy, I learned so much from him. And this great book, Servitors of Empire. If you haven't got it, make sure and get a copy.
I love cultural forensics. Just the idea that he came up with this. It just really it helps us in our research to think like that. It just helps so much. So thank you, Professor Hamamoto. We love you so much, and I hope we get to see you Thursday.
And happy birthday, Kathy.
Yeah.